Alex Duran had never been particularly lucky with dates. He worked long hours as a terraforming engineer on Eos colony, orbiting a green-blue exoplanet. His days were filled with calculations, simulations, and inspecting alien soil samples for human colonization projects. Nights were usually spent alone in his small apartment pod, staring at the glowing planet below, wondering if someone out there would ever understand him. So when a colleague mentioned the holo-blind date program, Alex was skeptical but curious. It wasn't just for fun, it was a system designed to match humans with compatible partners across the colonies, using a combination of psychological profiling and personality algorithms. For someone like Alex, it seemed like the perfect way to meet someone outside the sterile corridors of the terraforming labs. He had dressed carefully, choosing a dark blue tunic that fit well, and polished his shoes, even though the holodate didn't really require it. In the holo lounge, a circular room filled with soft light and floating holograms, he waited nervously. People around him chatted and laughed, some on dates, some just observing. "Don't overthink it," his colleague had said. "Just be yourself. That's what humans are best at, being human." Alex had chuckled. But deep down, he knew it wasn't that simple. As he sat on one of the levitating chairs, a soft chime announced the arrival of his date. The holographic interface projected a human figure with warm brown eyes and a friendly smile. Alex's stomach flipped. "Hi," he said, trying to sound confident. "Hi," replied the hologram, her voice soft but engaging. "I'm Alara. Nice to meet you." They talked about simple things at first: favorite foods, favorite planets to visit, hobbies. Alex laughed genuinely for the first time in weeks as Alara recounted a story about a cooking disaster on another colony. For a while, he forgot about his responsibilities, his boss, and even the vast loneliness of the orbital station. Then, just as he began to relax, he noticed movement out of the corner of his eye. At first, he thought it was another visitor. But no, it was Director Serena Kane, his boss. Standing near the entrance of the Holo Lounge, Alex froze. Serena Kane was not only the head of the terraforming division, she was also legendary across human colonies, brilliant, strict, and commanding respect wherever she went. She had a reputation for spotting mistakes before anyone else even noticed them. Seeing her here in casual civilian clothing, smiling at the Holo Lounge staff made Alex's heart pound. Serena's eyes landed on him. And for a moment, it felt like time had slowed. She didn't look angry. She didn't even look surprised. She looked amused. "Alex Duran," she said, her voice calm but carrying that familiar authority. "I didn't expect to find you here." Alex swallowed hard, unsure how to respond. I was just, Words failed him. Serena raised an eyebrow, stepping closer. "On a blind date?" she asked, her tone almost teasing. Alex's stomach sank. This was not a conversation he wanted to have with his boss, especially in public, in front of other humans. And with the holo date observing silently. "Yes," he admitted sheepishly. "I thought it would be interesting." Serena's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "Interesting? Really?" she said, glancing briefly at the holographic image of Alara. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" Alex's face turned bright red. His mind raced, trying to find a safe answer that wouldn't get him into trouble. Taking his boss out? That was unthinkable. She was his superior, his mentor, and a legend in her own right. Yet here she was, asking a question that was both impossible and, strangely, tempting. Alara, the holographic date, tilted her head, processing the situation. The AI system had no protocol for this scenario. Human supervisors crashing dates and making provocative comments. With a soft beep, the hologram excused herself politely and faded from view. Alex felt a mix of relief and embarrassment. I can't," he said quickly, fumbling with his hands. That wouldn't be appropriate." Serena walked past him, her gaze still playful. "Appropriate, huh? You humans always worry about rules. But sometimes, you miss opportunities if you don't take risks." Alex opened his mouth to respond, but the words didn't come. He had never seen this side of Serena before. She was usually all business, cold and precise, and yet now, she was standing there, challenging him, almost like a puzzle he wanted to solve. I'll try, he stammered finally, unsure what he meant by it. Good, Serena said, nodding once. Then, as if nothing had happened, she turned and began walking down the corridor, her presence commanding the room even as she moved casually. Alex watched her go, heart still racing, feeling both embarrassed and exhilarated. He sank back into his chair, taking a deep breath. The Holo Lounge was quiet again, the other patrons now focused on their own dates. Alex couldn't stop thinking about Serena's words. Something about the way she had said them, confident, teasing, direct, had a strange effect on him. He realized he had never seen her like this. Outside of meetings, presentations, and project inspections, she was human in a way he hadn't considered. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Alex left the Holo Lounge, walking along the observation deck that circled the colony. The planet below shimmered with emerald oceans and jade continents, and the stars stretched endlessly beyond the station's protective shields. He reflected on the incident, his mind racing with possibilities. Should he really consider Serena in a different light? Could someone like her ever see him as more than just an engineer in her department? And more importantly, was he brave enough to try? The hum of the colony's engines and the soft lights along the corridors were calming. Yet his thoughts kept spinning. Humanity had always thrived on challenges, surviving on distant planets, building societies in hostile environments, and adapting in ways no AI could. Yet somehow, Alex felt this challenge was more personal, more unpredictable than anything he had faced on Eos. As he returned to his apartment pod, he glanced at the small hologram of the planet hovering on his desk. He realized something important. Humans didn't just survive challenges in space, they thrived on them, in every way, intellectually, emotionally, socially. And maybe, this was the first real challenge he had to face, not with tools or formulas, but with courage and heart. He smiled faintly to himself, a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. Tomorrow, he thought, he would have to figure out what to do about Serena Kane. And somehow, he knew it wouldn't be boring. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt alive in a way that spreadsheets and lab inspections could never give him. Humanity had taken him far into the stars. And now, it was asking him to take a risk here, in a simple, human way, yet infinitely more complex than any alien terrain he had ever charted. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a thrill. Because humans, after all, were designed to rise to challenges. Whether it was surviving on a hostile world or navigating the impossible puzzle of human connection, Alex realized one thing. He was ready to try. The next morning, Alex woke up early, his thoughts still tangled with the previous evening's encounter. Serena Kane's teasing words echoed in his mind. Why didn't you try taking me out instead? The question was impossible, yet strangely exciting. Alex had spent years focused on calculations, machinery, and terraforming algorithms. But now he faced a challenge he had never prepared for, navigating something unpredictable, delicate, and human. He dressed quickly, trying to calm his nerves. The corridors of Eos Colony were already buzzing with activity. Engineers moved swiftly, hovering tools in hand, drones floated past, and the soft hum of life support systems filled the air. Everything was orderly, precise, yet his thoughts were chaotic. As Alex entered the lab, he noticed that everyone seemed unusually busy. Screens displayed soil analysis data, atmospheric readings, and terraforming progress reports. But there was one anomaly, a red warning blinking on the central console. Alex's stomach tightened. He rushed to the screen, heart sinking. Critical pressure drop in the oxygen circulation module, he muttered, reading the details. The oxygen regulators were failing in one section of the colony. If not corrected immediately, it could put dozens of people at risk. He tapped his communicator. Serena, we have a problem with the oxygen system. It's a serious drop in the circulation module. Within moments, Serena appeared at the lab door. Even in a casual jumpsuit, she radiated authority. "Show me," she said calmly, her eyes scanning the screen. Alex explained the situation in precise terms. Serena listened silently, occasionally nodding, occasionally asking sharp questions. Her attention to detail was terrifying and impressive. Alex realized that this was a situation where humans really showed their strength. The AI systems were smart, but unpredictable failures required intuition, creativity, and fast-thinking things no machine could do as well as a human. "Alex," Serena said finally, "you will lead the repair mission. I'll support remotely, but you're in charge. Can you handle it?" He swallowed hard. Leading a mission like this was daunting. Equipment was scattered across different modules, drones could malfunction, and a wrong calculation could escalate the problem. But at that moment, he felt a strange calm. Something about Serena's confidence in him made him believe he could do it. I'll do it," Alex said. Serena gave a small, approving nod. "Good. Let's move quickly." The team gathered their tools and floated toward the affected module. The corridors were dimly lit, glowing softly with emergency lights. Alex's mind raced, checking every calculation in his head. The pressure drop was subtle at first, but it could become catastrophic in minutes. As they reached the module, Alex noticed something odd. The AI drones were scanning, but their movements were erratic. They seemed confused by a minor atmospheric irregularity in the pipes. Alex knew that humans had an advantage here. Machines followed strict logic, but humans could adapt in real time. "Listen," Alex said to the team, "the AI drones are malfunctioning. We'll have to improvise." He floated toward the main control panel, hands moving with practiced precision. He bypassed some of the automated controls and manually adjusted the oxygen valves. The pipes hissed, releasing a small cloud of compressed air. His heart pounded, but he stayed focused. Serena's voice came through the communicator. "Your calculations are good, Alex. But remember, humans adapt. Don't just rely on formulas." Alex nodded, feeling a surge of determination. He scanned the module and noticed a small, damaged regulator hidden behind a maintenance panel. The AI drones had missed it entirely. With careful hands, he extracted it and replaced it with a spare. The pressure slowly stabilized. Red lights turned to green. A collective sigh of relief echoed through the module. "Excellent work, Alex," Serena said. "I didn't expect this level of improvisation. Humans really are remarkable." Alex couldn't help but feel proud. He had relied not just on training or knowledge, but on intuition, quick thinking, and adaptability qualities that defined humanity. Even the other engineers looked at him with new respect. After the repair, the team floated back toward the main lab. Alex felt a strange mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. The crisis had tested him, pushed him beyond his comfort zone, and yet he had succeeded. Humans always seem to rise to the occasion, no matter how impossible the task. When they reached the lab, Serena approached him again. This time, her tone was softer, almost thoughtful. "You handled that well, Alex. You didn't just fix the problem, you solved it in a way that the AI couldn't. That's what makes humans human." Alex looked at her, surprised. He had never seen Serena express admiration so openly. She continued, "You have courage, intelligence, and adaptability, all essential for survival in space. Don't forget that." He nodded, feeling both proud and nervous. The compliment was unusual, and it stirred something inside him, a desire to prove himself further. Not just professionally, but personally. Later, as the day ended, Alex returned to his apartment pod. He floated near the observation window, staring at the planet below. The oxygen crisis had been a reminder of how fragile life could be in space, and yet how capable humans were when they worked together and trusted their instincts. His mind wandered back to Serena Kane. The teasing comment from the Holo Lounge lingered in his thoughts. Maybe it wasn't just a joke. Maybe it was a challenge, a reminder that humans were not just capable in science and engineering, but also in social courage. He thought about the conversation, the way she had looked at him, her confident smile. Something inside him stirred a combination of admiration, curiosity, and something more. He realized that navigating human relationships was not unlike navigating the challenges of space. Unpredictable, demanding, and rewarding in equal measure. The next morning, Alex prepared for another day of work. The colony ran smoothly now, thanks to his quick thinking, but he knew more challenges were ahead. Not just in the labs, but in the corridors of human connection, unpredictable, complicated, and thrilling. As he walked past the main control hub, he noticed Serena standing there, reviewing reports. Their eyes met briefly, and for a moment, the usual professional distance seemed to blur. Serena raised an eyebrow, a small, knowing smile on her face. Alex felt a surge of determination. Humans had conquered impossible planets, adapted to harsh environments, and survived against odds no AI could handle. Maybe, just maybe, he could navigate this personal challenge too. Because humans didn't just survive, they thrived. They adapted, they learned, and they took risks. And for the first time, Alex realized that this lesson applied not just to terraforming a distant planet, but also to the unpredictable and exhilarating world of human relationships. That evening, Alex found himself back on the observation deck, watching the stars. He thought about the oxygen crisis, the teamwork, and the unexpected admiration from Serena. Something had changed. He felt more alive, more capable, more ready to face not just the challenges of the colony, but the challenges of life itself. A small laugh escaped him. He could still remember Serena's words from the Holo Lounge. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" It was audacious, unexpected, and utterly human. And somehow, Alex knew that this question, as simple as it sounded, was the beginning of an adventure far more personal and unpredictable than any mission or project he had ever faced. He smiled, a mix of excitement and nervousness curling in his chest. Humans survived in space, humans thrived in space, and maybe, just maybe, humans could thrive in love as well. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt ready. Ready to take a risk. Ready to face challenges beyond formulas and machines. Ready to embrace the human adventure in all its unpredictable glory. And somewhere, deep in his chest, he felt the thrill of possibility. The next morning, the hum of the colony felt heavier than usual. Alex Duran floated through the corridors of EOS Colony, his mind still replaying the previous day's events. He had fixed the oxygen crisis, earned Serena Kane's rare praise, and faced a personal challenge that left him both nervous and curious. Yet, today was different. A new alert flashed on the main console, and this one was far more serious. "Alex," Serena's voice came through the communicator, calm but urgent. "We have a malfunction in the terraforming equipment on level 7. If not repaired quickly, it could halt the oxygen recycling system and jeopardize the colony's stability." Alex's stomach twisted. Terraforming systems were complex, a delicate network of machinery, chemical processors, and atmospheric regulators. Any failure could affect the colony's entire environment. He had studied the schematics for years, but now, he would have to lead the repair mission personally. "I'll get a team together," Alex said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We'll handle it. You'll have remote support from me," Serena said. "But this is your mission. I trust your judgment." Alex nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and pressure. Humans were capable of extraordinary feats, but the stakes in space were unforgiving. Mistakes could be catastrophic. By the time Alex reached the equipment hub on level 7, a small team of engineers had gathered. Drones hovered. Tools floated in magnetic trays, and warning lights blinked across the consoles. Alex took a deep breath. "All right," he said, addressing the team. "We have a pressure imbalance in the terraforming units. AI drones are reporting anomalies, But I want humans to handle the core adjustments manually. This is where our intuition matters more than automation. The team nodded, ready to follow his lead. Alex's hands moved quickly, checking every valve, every regulator, every interface. He bypassed some automated systems and manually tested the oxygen mix and chemical flow. One section of the machinery hissed and shook, clearly unstable. "Here," Alex said, pointing at a small, hidden compartment. "The regulator has been compromised. Drones can't fix this, we need to do it manually." A young engineer floated toward him, alarmed. "But it's dangerous. That section could release toxic gas if we miscalculate." Alex smiled faintly. "Humans adapt. That's what makes us valuable. We can sense, improvise, and act where machines cannot. Stay focused, and we'll fix it safely." With careful movements, Alex and the engineer replaced the regulator. Sparks flew, the machinery groaned, and the air shimmered with pressure changes. Alex's heart raced, but he kept calm, monitoring every reading on the console. Slowly, the pressure stabilized. Green lights replaced the red warnings. Serena's voice came through the communicator again. "Well done, Alex. That was textbook improvisation. The AI could not have done it this efficiently. Humans always find a way." Alex felt a surge of pride. The compliment was different this time. It was not just about following instructions, but about human ingenuity and courage. He realized that humans thrived not because they were perfect, but because they adapted, learned, and dared to take calculated risks. Just as he was about to start post-repair checks, another issue appeared. A minor chemical leak had developed in a secondary system, one that could spread rapidly if ignored. The team glanced at each other nervously. Alex floated closer to the panel. "We'll handle this too," he said confidently. "Humans can multitask and improvise. Let's do it step by step." He assessed the leak and quickly devised a plan. Using a combination of magnetic clamps and portable sealant injectors, the team worked together under his guidance. Sparks and steam hissed around them, but Alex remained steady, checking each reading, adjusting valves, and predicting changes in the flow. The chemical leak was contained. The system stabilized fully. Green lights blinked across the entire hub. Alex exhaled deeply, feeling the adrenaline fade. The mission was a success. "Alex," Serena's voice was soft but full of respect. "You didn't just repair the systems, you prevented a potential disaster. This is why humans are invaluable in space. Machines follow logic. But humans adapt, improvise, and solve the impossible." Alex smiled, feeling the weight of her words. It wasn't just about technical skill, it was about courage, intuition, and determination. Traits that defined humanity in the vastness of space. Later, when the team returned to the lab, Alex found a moment of quiet. The colony was stable, the crisis averted, and the terraforming systems were running perfectly. Yet, his thoughts kept returning to Serena Kane. Her admiration yesterday and today lingered in his mind. He remembered her question from the Hollow Lounge. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" It wasn't just a joke. It was a challenge, a test, and perhaps an invitation. Alex realized that humans didn't just face challenges in technology or space, they faced challenges in life, in connection, in relationships. And just like in the terraforming mission, success depended on courage, intuition, and a willingness to take risks. That evening, Alex walked along the observation deck, gazing at the planet below. Lights from the colony glimmered like stars against the green-blue surface. He thought about the mission, the teamwork, and the unexpected recognition from Serena. Humans had colonized planets, built thriving societies, and survived in hostile environments. They had conquered challenges that no AI could overcome. And yet, he realized, the greatest challenge might not be terraforming planets or fixing machines. It might be navigating the unpredictable, emotional, and personal world of human connection. Alex shook his head, smiling faintly. Life in space was unpredictable. But that unpredictability made it exciting. Humans were built for this, to adapt, to learn, to thrive. And if he approached Serena with the same courage and ingenuity he had shown today, maybe he could succeed in this new, personal mission as well. Back in his apartment pod, Alex floated near the observation window. The stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to human achievement and ambition. He felt a sense of calm determination. Tomorrow, he thought, he would continue to work, continue to learn, and perhaps continue to explore the unexpected possibilities with Serena. He realized something important. Humans thrived in challenges, not just because of their knowledge or strength, but because of their curiosity, adaptability, and courage. Whether it was saving a colony from environmental disaster or taking a risk in life, humanity always found a way to succeed. And somewhere, deep in his chest, Alex felt a spark of excitement, not just for his work, but for the possibilities that lay ahead, challenges that were human, emotional, and infinitely unpredictable. Because humans didn't just survive in space, they thrived, they adapted, they solved the impossible. And Alex was ready to take on this new kind of challenge, one that was personal, daring, and perhaps the most rewarding adventure of all. The night settled over the colony. Lights blinked in the distance. The machinery hummed quietly, perfectly balanced. And Alex, floating in his small pod, felt alive, capable, and ready for whatever challenge came next. He smiled faintly, thinking of Serena's words. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" It was audacious, unexpected, and entirely human. And for Alex, it was a challenge he was finally ready to face. The following morning, the colony woke to a soft hum of activity. The air was crisp, the lights of Eos colony reflecting faintly on the observation deck, and the faint shimmer of the distant planet below reminded everyone that life here was a delicate balance. Alex floated down the corridor toward the main lab, his mind still replaying the events of the previous days. Fixing the oxygen crisis and leading the terraforming mission had pushed him to his limits, and yet, he felt more alive than ever. Serena Kane was already in the lab, reviewing reports on the latest terraforming adjustments. Even in her casual jumpsuit, she exuded an effortless authority. Her presence always made Alex feel alert, aware, and strangely challenged. Today was no different. "Morning, Alex," she said, glancing up from her console. Her eyes held a mix of amusement and respect. "I reviewed your mission logs. You handled the crisis exceptionally well. Humans truly are remarkable." Alex smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "Thank you, Serena. It was... But the team and I managed to stabilize everything." Serena nodded. "Yes, but it wasn't just the technical skill. You adapted, improvised, and led. That's what sets humans apart from AI or automated systems. You understand context, risks, and solutions in ways machines can't." Alex felt a warmth rise in his chest. Serena's praise was rare, and he sensed genuine admiration. Not just a professional formality, but even as he basked in the compliment, he remembered the question from the Holo Lounge. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" He looked at her, uncertain how to bridge the gap between professional respect and personal curiosity. "About yesterday," he began cautiously, but Serena tilted her head, waiting. "I've been thinking," she said, her tone lighter now, almost playful. "Humans always find a way to adapt to challenges. That includes unexpected social situations." Alex's heart raced. He wanted to respond, to express what he felt, but words seemed inadequate. Instead, he nodded, letting silence stretch for a moment, a silence that was heavy, full of possibility. Before either of them spoke again, an alarm chimed. A warning flashed on the central console. Something was wrong in the secondary terraforming unit. A minor pressure imbalance, but one that could escalate if ignored. Alex's focus shifted immediately. "Serena, it's level 5. The backup regulator is fluctuating. If it worsens, oxygen recycling could slow down significantly." Serena's expression softened, but her tone remained professional. I'll monitor remotely. You take the lead, Alex. He felt a rush of responsibility. Just like the previous missions, success would require intelligence, quick thinking, and human intuition. But now, a subtle personal tension lingered. Serena was watching him not just as an engineer, but as a human, assessing his courage, adaptability, and, perhaps something more. Alex floated toward the secondary unit with his tools and team. The pressure fluctuation was subtle but dangerous. AI drones attempted to stabilize it, but their responses were rigid, slow, and inefficient. Alex knew he needed to act. Humans can improvise, he reminded his team. Machines follow logic. We follow reason and instinct. Focus, observe, and act. He quickly analyzed the problem. A small valve had misaligned due to minor vibrations in the colony's structure. Manually adjusting it was risky. A small error could worsen the pressure. Alex took a deep breath and moved carefully, floating close to the panel. He adjusted the valve, recalibrated the pressure sensors, and monitored the readings. Slowly, the numbers began to stabilize. Green lights replaced the blinking red warnings. The team let out a collective sigh of relief. Serena's voice came through the communicator again, calm but impressed. Excellent work, Alex. You didn't just fix the problem, you anticipated the cascade effect. That's exactly why humans are essential in space missions. Alex smiled faintly. The compliment felt different this time, not just professional recognition, but a deeper acknowledgement of his skill, courage, and judgment. He felt proud but also vulnerable. After the repairs, the lab quieted down. Alex floated to a small observation deck nearby. And to his surprise, Serena followed him. You handled everything today remarkably, she said, looking out at the planet below. You've grown more confident in just a few days than many engineers do in years. Alex hesitated, then decided to speak honestly. It's thanks to your guidance, Serena. And I've realized something. Humans are amazing at solving problems, but sometimes the biggest challenges aren't technical. They're personal. Serena turned slightly, intrigued. Personal? Yes, Alex said, choosing his words carefully. Connecting with someone, understanding them, taking risks, even if you might fail. It's unpredictable, but it's worth trying. Serena smiled softly, her usual professional armor replaced by something warmer. You're learning fast, Alex. Humans survive and thrive in harsh environments, and that includes challenges of the heart and mind. The same courage you show in missions applies to relationships. Alex felt a jolt of understanding. The challenge wasn't just the terraforming units, the oxygen systems, or the colony's survival. The challenge was personal, navigating the subtle, unpredictable world of human connection. Especially with someone like Serena Kane. He looked at her, searching for a hint, a sign, anything that could guide him. Serena met his gaze steadily, her eyes full of curiosity and perhaps a quiet invitation. Sometimes, she said slowly, humans miss opportunities because they are too cautious. They focus on rules and propriety, and they forget that taking a chance can lead to something remarkable. Alex nodded, absorbing her words. It was the same principle he had applied in the repair missions. Careful observation, calculated risk, adaptation, and courage. Only now, the risk was personal. For a long moment, they floated silently, the glow of the distant planet reflecting off the glass walls around them. Alex felt a shift inside him, a sense of clarity and determination. Humanity thrived not just through intellect or strength, but through courage, adaptation, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty. I understand, Alex said finally, his voice quiet but firm. And I think I'm ready to try. Serena's lips curved into a small, approving smile. Good. That's all anyone can ask. Courage is what makes humans extraordinary. The moment lingered. Neither spoke for a while. but the air between them was charged with possibility. Alex felt exhilarated and nervous all at once. It was a strange, beautiful challenge, unpredictable, daunting, and yet entirely human. Later, Alex returned to his apartment pod. He floated near the observation window, watching the colony lights twinkle across the surface below. The events of the day, the crisis, the improvisation, the praise, and the quiet conversation with Serena all blended together. He realized that life in space wasn't just about survival or technical skill. It was about courage, connection, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty. Humans thrived because they adapted, solved problems, and took risks. They thrived not just in outer space, but in the unpredictable, emotional terrain of relationships. Alex understood now that his biggest adventure might not be fixing machinery or managing a colony. It might be navigating the complexities of human connection with someone extraordinary. He smiled faintly, thinking of Serena's teasing line from the Hollow Lounge. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" It wasn't just a joke. It was a challenge. A reminder that humans excel when they take risks, embrace uncertainty, and act with courage. And for the first time, Alex felt ready to rise to that challenge. The colony hummed quietly below him, the terraforming systems running smoothly. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to human ingenuity, bravery, and adaptability. Alex felt a surge of hope, excitement, and determination. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, technical, social, and personal. But Alex was ready. Humans thrived on challenges, and he was no exception. And somewhere deep inside, he felt the spark of possibility, the thrill of a human adventure that was far more unpredictable, rewarding, and exhilarating than any mission he had ever faced. Because humans didn't just survive. They adapted. They thrived. They faced impossible challenges in space, in life, and in the human heart. And Alex Duran was ready to prove that he was capable of all three. The morning sun spilled over the distant horizon of the planet below Eos Colony, painting the sky in soft shades of green and gold. Alex Duran floated through the corridors, his mind buzzing with anticipation. Today was no ordinary day. The terraforming systems were operating smoothly, but the colony had detected a sudden spike in atmospheric pressure within one of the new expansion modules. It wasn't catastrophic yet. "Alex, are you seeing this?" Serena's voice came clearly through the communicator. She had arrived early at the main lab, her sharp eyes scanning the alerts. "I am," Alex replied, already moving toward the console. "The secondary pressure regulators are fluctuating again. If not corrected quickly, it could affect oxygen distribution in the expansion modules." Serena nodded. "I trust your judgment. Lead the mission. Alex, I'll coordinate remotely and provide guidance if needed." Alex felt a familiar surge of determination. Humans thrived in moments like these, adapting, improvising, and taking calculated risks where machines would fail. He gathered his team, checking tools and equipment, and prepared for the repair mission. As they floated toward the affected module, the colony's atmosphere shimmered slightly under emergency lights. The pressure fluctuations were subtle but growing. Drones buzzed nervously, unable to handle the delicate adjustments required. Alex took a deep breath and addressed his team. "Machines can follow logic, but humans can sense context. We can adapt, improvise, and make decisions instantly. Stay focused. We're going to stabilize the system manually." The engineers nodded, trusting his leadership. Alex moved toward the central regulator, floating with practiced precision. He analyzed the readings carefully. A minor misalignment in the pressure valves, combined with a delayed feedback loop, had caused the fluctuations. The solution required both technical skill and intuitive judgment, exactly where humans excelled. As Alex adjusted the valves, his hands steady despite the tension, Serena's voice came over the communicator. "Good. You've done similar procedures before, but this one is slightly unpredictable. Trust your instincts, Alex." He smiled faintly. Humans had survived the harshest conditions in space because of instincts, adaptability, and courage qualities no AI could replicate. He moved swiftly, aligning the valves and recalibrating the feedback sensors. The air hissed gently as pressure stabilized, and slowly, the blinking red lights turned to green. "Excellent work, Alex," Serena said, a rare note of warmth in her voice. "You didn't just fix the system, you prevented a chain reaction that could have caused major damage. Humans truly are remarkable." Alex felt a mixture of pride and relief. It wasn't just about technical skill anymore, it was about leadership, courage, and the ability to make split-second decisions that mattered. Humans survived not just by following rules, but by thinking, adapting, and acting. As the team returned to the main lab, Alex noticed Serena waiting for him, her expression softer than usual. The professional distance that always existed between them seemed to fade slightly. "You handled everything today exceptionally," she said, her tone almost gentle. "I've observed humans adapt under pressure for years, but your ability to lead, improvise, and remain calm is impressive." Alex felt his chest tighten slightly. He had worked hard to earn her respect professionally, but he sensed that today, it went beyond that. Serena was seeing him as someone capable, not just as an engineer, but as a person who could rise to any challenge. "Thank you, Serena," he said quietly. "It means a lot coming from you." She smiled. "You've grown a lot in a short time. It's one thing to follow instructions. It's another to take responsibility, to act decisively, and to succeed where others might hesitate. That's human ingenuity and courage in its purest form." Alex hesitated, then gathered the courage to address the thought that had been lingering since the Holo Lounge incident. "Serena, about your question the other night, about taking you out." She tilted her head, waiting, her eyes soft but focused. "I've realized," Alex continued, "that humans thrive not just in technical challenges, but in personal ones too. Taking risks, facing uncertainty. It's all part of being human, and I want to take that chance, with you, if you'll allow it." There was a pause. The hum of the colony filled the silence. Then, Serena's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "Alex," she said slowly, "humans thrive on courage, on taking risks when the outcome is uncertain. I would like to see where this goes." Alex felt a wave of exhilaration and relief. It wasn't just a personal victory, it was a human victory. Courage, adaptability, and determination had led him here, in both his professional and personal life. The day continued with the usual work, but the atmosphere between Alex and Serena had shifted. Conversations flowed with ease, punctuated by laughter and quiet moments of understanding. They discussed the colony's projects, human ingenuity, and even their favorite memories from past assignments. For Alex, it felt like a new dimension of human experience, connection, trust, and companionship had opened up. Later, they found themselves on the observation deck, floating near the glass wall, watching the planet below. The green oceans shimmered, the continents glowed faintly, and the stars stretched endlessly beyond the colony's protective shields. "You know," Serena said softly, "humans are incredible. We survive where others cannot, adapt where others fail, and find solutions in moments of crisis. But what's more remarkable is how we navigate challenges in relationships, in trust, and in connection. That's what makes us truly extraordinary." Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of alignment with her words. He realized that all the missions, repairs, and crises had been preparation, not just for the colony's survival, but for a human breakthrough in courage, connection, and emotional intelligence. "Exactly," he said. "We thrive in the unexpected, in the moments that require courage and adaptability. And I'm ready to embrace that, in every aspect of life." Serena looked at him, her eyes reflecting admiration, amusement, and something deeper. "I think we both are," she said. For a long moment, they floated silently, the glow of the planet below and the stars above casting a serene light. Alex felt a rush of possibility, the same thrill he had experienced when improvising during crises, when solving problems no AI could handle. And now, when navigating the most unpredictable challenge of all, human connection. The days that followed were a blend of work and shared moments. They collaborated on terraforming projects, brainstormed solutions to potential environmental hazards, and celebrated small victories in the colony's expansion. But amidst the professional triumphs, there was a growing bond built on mutual respect, admiration, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty together. One evening, as the colony rested under the quiet hum of life support systems, Alex and Serena found themselves alone on the observation deck. The planet below glowed softly, and the stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to human ingenuity, courage, and connection. "Alex," Serena said, her voice thoughtful, "I've seen humans excel in unimaginable ways, surviving on distant planets, building thriving colonies, and overcoming impossible odds. But seeing you, navigating challenges with courage, ingenuity, and heart, it reminds me why humans are truly extraordinary." Alex felt a warmth rise in his chest. "Thank you, Serena. And I've realized something important. Humans don't just survive. We thrive. We face challenges, technical, personal, emotional, and we grow stronger. And I want to continue thriving with you." Serena smiled, a quiet, approving smile that spoke volumes. "Then, let's see where this goes," she said. The moment lingered, filled with possibility, excitement, and a deep sense of human achievement. It wasn't just a professional victory or a technical triumph. It was a personal, emotional, and human victory. Courage, adaptability, intuition, and determination had led Alex here, to this moment of connection and understanding. Later, as Alex returned to his apartment pod, he floated near the observation window, gazing at the planet below. The colony hummed quietly, the terraforming systems running perfectly, and the stars stretched endlessly. Humans had conquered impossible odds, survived in hostile environments, and thrived in the most challenging conditions. And Alex knew, with a quiet certainty, that humanity's greatest victories were not just in technology or exploration. They were in courage, connection, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty. He smiled faintly, thinking of Serena's teasing line from the Hollow Lounge. "Why didn't you try taking me out instead?" It had been audacious, unexpected, and entirely human. And now, it had led to triumph, professional, personal, and emotional. Alex felt alive, capable, and ready for the future. Knowing that humans didn't just survive in space, they thrived. They adapted. They conquered the impossible. Because humans were extraordinary. And Alex Duran had finally realized it, in every way that mattered. The stars shone brightly above Eos Colony, silent witnesses to human courage, ingenuity, and the remarkable power of the human heart.